So when do kids born the wrong gender typically start to feel they're different? The answer is 3 years old.
That's right. According to the National Gender Identity Development Unit in London, which I didn't know about until just now, feelings of discomfort about gender can strike kids from the age of 3, but it's rarely possible to predict if they're going to want a full sex change until they reach puberty. You're watching The Right Stuff. Hardeep Singh Kohli, Lowry Turner and our special guest, Reg E Cathey, the actor, all here. In a little while, Reg is going to take us through the rest of today's headlines, but first, I wonder what they make of this story in The Sun, and indeed you at home. A school announcing a 12-year-old pupil's sex change at assembly. You can email us your comments, rightstuff@5.tv is the address, and Kirsty will read up some later. Now, we don't know the name of the school or its location, other than it's in southern England. What we do know is a 12-year-old pupil from the school is about to become, or wishes to become, the world's youngest sex change patient. The child's parents say they've accepted that he is now a girl, and they changed his name by deed poll over the summer. He, or it should now be she, arrived at school for the new year wearing a dress and pink ribbons in her hair, and she's waiting to have surgery to make her fully female. The news was broken to fellow pupils at a special assembly. Kids were told to treat their colleagues sensitively. Some parents, though, claim their children were upset and confused by the news. Why couldn't we have told our children what had gone on ourselves, they moaned. Her classmates already knew that she felt she was a girl, and she'd been badly bullied as a result, I think, in primary school. The head teacher has insisted she was treated as a boy and used the boys' loos, but attitudes have changed as a result of events over the summer. And now pupils are being told they'll be disciplined if they fail to use her by her new girl's name. And she's also been given a separate loo and changing room as well. The transgender changing room and loo, I guess. One mum has told The Sun the assembly was like throwing a hand grenade into the room and then leaving unprepared parents to deal with the consequences. Lowry, have they got any right to moan?
I don't think they have any right to moan. I think the people I feel terribly sorry for this are the boy who's now become a girl and his family.
Yeah.
And, I mean, my goodness, how on earth you would deal with that? I mean, I think about my kids who are in primary. This child has moved from primary, where he was a boy, to secondary, where he's now a girl.
Yeah.
He was hoping that not too many kids from his primary would come to this secondary school, so he could kind of start again as a girl. Unfortunately, of course, lots of kids have come from the primary, and that's caused a big ruckus. Now, thinking two things about my kids are still in primary. We have, for example, one boy in my 6-year-old son's class who has 2 mums and a dad. Now, you work that one out. Kids totally accept it. It's not a big deal. I think kids do accept things. I think the problem is it's the parents and not the kids. I mean, I've got another friend who's got a son who's 11, so he's just gone up to secondary school. He was being quite badly bullied because the other kids said he was gay. Now, he is slightly effeminate and may go on to be gay. And kids were bullying him, but that was for this school to deal with, and that's what this school was trying to do. They was trying to deal with the issue the only way they could. Otherwise,
do you think announcing it at assembly was a good idea?
The other option is allowing the gossip to just run through the school and leaving this boy on his own, girl, I should say, on her own, or doing a letter home, or doing every class.
Well, let's go with that, Reg. Do you think a letter home would have been a smarter idea? Allowing parents to talk to their children on a one-to-one basis rather than having some diktat being announced from school assembly?
I think I think they were in a lose situation, whatever decision they were going to make. I think that at that age, kids are dealing with their own sexual
good point.
Questions and mysteries. Bullying, I was bullied as one of the few black kids on army bases all over Europe and the Far East, and the kids are going to pick whatever they can, and the things that are most hurtful and the most damaging, of course, anything sexual, they're going to just jump on. So the kids are going to treat this little girl terribly, no matter what the situation. The parents could have been warned beforehand so that they would have had the chance to talk to their own children at the home before. But I don't know.
Then you wonder, though, whether you're going to end up making even a bigger issue of it.
Exactly.
I'm just thinking about school assembly always rounding off at my school with the song All Things Bright and Beautiful, and you think, what a great all-encompassing theme tune for an announcement like this, Hardeep.
I'm close to being livid.
With the parents, the school,
you know, I suspect okay, God bless the newspapers, but I suspect if you scratch beneath the surface, there'll be one or two parents who are phoned up by a newspaper asking the question, are you upset? And they're going, Trevor, are we upset? Yeah, we're upset.
Really upset.
Trevor says we're really, really upset. Why are we upset? I don't know, but we're upset.
It's disgusting.
Right.
It's disgraceful.
Do you know what? I worked in children's television for a long time. I've had my own kids. I've got lots of friends with kids. Kids are the most robust, the most resilient. They can be the cruelest. They can be the most loving and accommodating.
Do you think Assembly was the right place to...
Absolutely. Because if you do, okay, imagine a scenario if you don't. This poor girl's life, who's the victim here? Are you telling me the parents who had to sit their kids down and say, sex changes happen? What a terrible life they've got. This is a child. Can you imagine the hell this girl's parents have been through? She's 11, 12 years old, and they're making a decision. Sit down. Sit down. Do you want to be a boy or a girl? These are the people that we should be concerned about. Okay. The Sun and other newspapers had a brilliant opportunity to bring this issue, you know, into the fore, and they chose not to.
OK. We'll leave that there. We'll take your comments, as I said, by email after the break, when Reg will be taking us through the rest of what this morning's papers have to offer, including the think tank that claims it really is a man's job to be the breadwinner, Larry.
Are you offering? You can pay my bills any time.
And why one supermarket is refusing to use the Force. Obi-Wan Kenobi. We'll see you on the other side of the break.
So according to today's Daily Mail, how many university freshers are penniless because their student loans haven't come through? The answer is a whopping 100,000.
You're watching The Right Stuff, live on 5 with Larry Turner, Hardeep Singh and the actor Reg E Cathey. Catch him in the new stage adaptation of the Shawshank Redemption. It's on at London's Wyndham Theatre, and I think Hardeep and I have just agreed we're going to go over the weekend. Love it. Now, still to come, should a human rights worker lose his job because he collects Nazi memorabilia? Simple question, 0207 173 5555 is the number for your thoughts. He is doing nothing illegal. But first, let's take a closer look at what is making news today, Reg. What have you got for us?
What caught my eye was this article in the Times about the second wave of swine flu that's coming up. And what's scary to me about this, I remember when this broke in America.
Did you notice, by the way, as soon as you said swine flu, somebody in the audience goes...
Well, I think that's part of it. But the scary part is how we overuse antibiotics. Yeah. Which is like making all this kind of things. That's immediately when I saw this what I thought of.
Do you think, because I guess back home in the States, I mean, swine flu has run quite a course, hasn't it? When I was over there, I was hearing stories about Mexico being really hit badly and sort of hundreds of thousands, then millions of people getting it. Here, we seem to have had it relatively lightly. So.
But even in America, very few people have died. Very, very few.
So you think it's a bit overhyped?
Well, I think a lot of it, I mean, it's hard to tell because, as I say, the overuse of antibiotics. Who knows what thing used to work and now doesn't work, and what virus has mutated and what it's done. So maybe it's just a regular, you know, cycle of the flu, and people have died as they usually do, but it's swine flu, so it's, or avian flu, or, you know.
And if the two combined, pigs might fly flu. Which just following the natural logic. OK, swine flu.
What really got me was this thing in the Telegraph, that lap dancing is now a routine part of the corporate culture.
Absolutely.
Do you think that's a good thing?
Well, see, in Japan, it's long been a staple of the whole corporate. These guys.
Yeah. And I mean, that tells you about the culture of the companies, doesn't it? Which is presumably quite male. I mean, I wouldn't. Exactly. If my girlfriend was like, I think we'll have a good night out. Tell you what, we'll go to a lap dancing club. Now, so it's not fundamentally a female entertainment. Some women do go. Now, increasingly, because they've bought into this idea that this is good entertainment. But I mean, I just think, when I've had this argument with you before, Matthew, I don't know whether you frequent these places, but personally, I don't...
Matthew and I spent our weekends in the theatre, darling.
I'm glad to hear.
It's interesting, the only time I've ever been to a lap dancing club was in Tokyo, years ago. And after half an hour, the cameraman and producer I was with tapped me on the shoulder and said, "Do you know you've got your back to the stage?" And I said, "Yeah, because it's much more interesting watching the men, watching the women, than watching the women."
I thought you were going to say, you got tapped on the shoulder and say, "Would you mind sitting down?" that pose for the dancers. Anyway, to cut a long story short, Harriet Harpersons wants to stop companies writing off evenings at lap dance clubs as a legitimate business expense, which seems...
Why should they? I can't claim a nanny as a legitimate business expense. That's childcare. That surely is rather more essential.
I was going to say, it seems fair, which is, of course, what they want. Fairness. We'll have one more from you, Reg. What else have we got?